I just started it. Hello, hello. Happy Monday. We are live. Okay, perfect. Yay. Let's do that. Hello, hello. I see you. All right, we're super excited to be here today. Today is Monday, October 28th, and we are live. This is Vamonos Live, and this is our special Latino Power Couple episode. We're super excited. But before we get to our special guest with Jessica and Nelson, we got to get some information to give to y'all, stuff about the community events, all those wonderful things. So let's get to it, and let me see who else is joining with us today. Infinite Shades, Linda, I see you. Mean Machine PW, I see you. Ana Diaz, I don't know how to say that, but I see you. Mama Chula, I see you. Thank you so much for joining with us, and share with your friends, your family, that we are live here on Let's Vamonos IG, and we are excited to have another episode. So just so y'all know, we have some wonderful community events. Again, every week we will go live here Monday at Seshco Working Space, which is 2808 Carolina Street here in Houston, Texas, in Midtown. So if you haven't checked out this space, interested in a working space, a very creative working space, as you can see, we got a mural behind us. We got some fishies back there. This is our new studio, and we're so proud to be partnering with Seshco Working Space. So if you don't know, go check out their website as well, seshcoworking.com, where you can see all their community events. So today's a Monday. Wednesday, they do College Day. And then every third Thursday of the month, they do a networking day, which is Female Founders and Friends Day. So you missed it this month, no worries. You got next month, which is in November. So we'll be sharing that as we continue through this season. But we want to make sure y'all know about what's going on. So check out the website, check out my site. It's been a busy Monday, y'all. So if y'all see my website, it's a little behind even today. So, but I will be updating it this week for sure to make sure y'all know about all the community events. And then, as y'all know, Halloween is coming up, and also Dia de los Muertos is also coming up. So we'd love to share any information or opportunities or events that y'all have going. Share with us on Let's Vamonos, and we'll share with our community as well. We see you, Laura. Thank you so much for joining. Vanessa, see you. Appreciate you joining. We are super excited to be here. I'm trying to think of any other community events I need to share that I want y'all to know, but I don't think there are. So with no further ado, we are going to bring on our wonderful guests, which is Jessica Boyanos and also Nelson Venegas, which is our Trending Chismes segment. And so we're super excited to bring them on. And if you know or ever interested in chiming in on the Trending Chisme, go to our stories before our live, and you can chime in as well. We definitely want to hear from y'all, but we definitely want to hear from y'all today as we chime in on the Trending Chisme topics. So we'll get to it. So here we go. We're going to bring them on. Let's get y'all in here. Thank you so much for joining. We appreciate y'all. Make sure everybody's here. Let me move my chair just a tad. Make sure we can get us all in. Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much for joining with us. We've had a little bit of we're doing a new background because we're trying things out a little differently. We want to be able to utilize this space, this super creative space, as efficiently as we can. So we appreciate y'all joining us today. So I'm so excited to have y'all on. It has been a year in the making to get them on, because from when I first met y'all back in October of last year at Tech 23 event for, I think it was like in celebration, I think, of Latino Entrepreneurs Week or something like that. And we got to meet y'all and got to see y'all, and I was introduced to y'all, and I know y'all are friends with also Michelle and Jose, which I absolutely adore. They are amazing. So when they introduced me to y'all, I was like, well, here we go. Latino power couples hang out together, right? But before we get into that, let's get into the Trending Chismes. So do y'all know anything about the Trending Chismes segment that we do?
We've seen it.
We've seen it
a
a little bit.
Yeah, a little
Okay.
bit.
Okay. Did you see any of the polls beforehand?
I saw some.
From your stories? Yeah.
Yes.
Well, he did.
He did. Okay.
Yeah, he did.
Okay. Well, we're gonna get this is a hot take, y'all. So we want y'all's raw reaction. We tend not to want the guests to see them, but if you do see them, because you follow and support, we appreciate that. And so if y'all are on, drop a line and say hello. I see you, Nicole, as well. And thank you for joining with us. If you're on Facebook joining with us right now, appreciate it as well. But our first trending cheesemate poll that we gave, which let me see if I can find it because I've got like a million windows open here. Okay, here we go. So we've got, do your kids still dress up for Halloween? Obviously, y'all don't have kids, right? But do y'all still dress up for Halloween?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. When was the last time you dressed up? You remember?
The only thing that comes to mind is a few years ago when I dressed up as Beyonce.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that was like lemonade year.
Oh, okay.
With the braids.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like I opened the door to the kids with like a bowl full of like lemons and candy.
I love that.
I had Nelson play the music.
Oh my goodness.
It was actually kind of scary. We had like red lights on. And, like, some of the kids
so it was
were
like
freaking
scary
out.
Beyonce.
Yeah, I was the DJ.
And you, Nelson, did you dress up as well?
I don't think so. I don't know if I dressed up that year. Usually I'll do a mask or something simple, right?
Yeah.
And we do it last minute. So like we'd be sitting around.
J Balvin.
I did. Oh yeah. So for an organization called HHMP, shout out to HHMP, we did a Halloween party.
Okay.
And I was J Balvin.
Oh, okay.
So,
That's
I
great.
had the
Very
tattoos
trendy.
and everything. It was he was doing a lot of stuff.
So for those that know, I have kids. One of my kids does not want to dress up this year. He's 13 going on 30. And I have another one who is wanting to dress up with all the trendy things. So this inflatable costume, which is not cheap, y'all. He bribed his dad to get it for him because I was like, "What are you thinking?"
Which one is it? Is it like T-Rex one?
No, it's like this bean. It's like this video player person. It's like a bean, literally. It's strange. It's very strange, but it's inflatable. That's all he cared about. That it inflates and you walk around with it, and it looks funny. So, yeah. Also, did y'all ever dress up when you were kids? Did you is that something y'all did when y'all were kids? Did you dress up a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine. I don't really remember all
You
the
don't
things
remember?
that I dressed up as.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I actually weirdly remember one year we didn't have costumes.
Okay.
And so I dressed up as, I don't know if it was my brother's or my mom, somebody's Taco Bell uniform from like years ago. So I just put
you
that
were a
on,
Taco Bell worker.
Yeah, I was a Taco Bell worker.
Interesting. Okay. Well, the reason why I bring it up too is because as Latinos, typically, like you mentioned, we don't always have a costume, right? So I was a witch for many years, which was super easy, right? Black hat, whatever. And then I wanted to be like something really cool one year. My mom couldn't figure it out. She was like, "No, you don't need all that." She's always convincing me I didn't need any of those things. And so I don't dress up too much. So that's one of the things. But I'm looking forward to Halloween this year. I'm not going to dress up. I think I'm just going to give out candy. And so I'm happy about that. Yeah. I think it's going to rain too.
Oh, you know what? The last time we did dress up, we were the Addams family with our mentee.
Oh, yeah.
So she was Wednesday. And
okay. Y'all were the couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was the last time.
That was last time. Yeah. Also, if you hadn't seen, have you voted early? So it's trending right now. Have you voted early?
Yes.
We did.
Awesome.
Voted on my birthday.
Awesome.
October 23rd.
Awesome. Yeah. That's so cool.
Definitely.
My birthday is actually the day after Election Day this year.
Oh, cool.
So I actually, for when I first voted for the very first time, I had to register early. So I could vote on Election Day. So that was super cool. And then the last thing, and then we got here the poll, 67% said y'all still haven't voted yet.
Okay.
So y'all need to vote early. Go vote. It's open until the end of the week, I guess? Till the end of this week.
31st,
yeah, till the 31st. And then this is something interesting that I saw, but it's soup season. Did you know it's soup season?
No.
I don't know. I didn't know it was soup season. What soup do you eat the most? Caldo de res, mariscos. I don't like soup. clam chowder?
Oh, none of those.
Okay.
I would probably say, yeah, well, we don't really eat that much soup, but when I do, it'd probably be the green pozole.
Green pozole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not the red one.
Not the red
The
one.
green one.
The green pozole. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So-
that's a soup, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never heard of green pozole.
Really?
That's good.
I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever heard of it. No.
It's good.
I'm more of a menudo kind of girl. So
Okay.
Oh, menudo goes hard.
yeah. So you
Sopa de pollo.
okay.
So chicken soup.
Chicken soup.
That's chicken noodle soup.
Yeah.
That's my jam.
Tradition.
Yeah, my mom
Yeah.
makes that too. The traditional caldo de pollo. Me personally, though, I've gotten a thing for mariscos. I love a seafood soup. Give me everything. The octopus, everything. The what is it? The oysters, the crawfish. Put it all in there. I love that. That's just me personally. It's become a new thing for me. I really like it. I grew up with eating it as a kid, and as an adult, I still like it as well. But I saw that clam, and the reason why we're talking about soup, not just because it's soup season, y'all, but because Google Trends is saying that soups are trending, and the soup that was trending was clam chowder.
Oh, well.
Do you
Interesting.
ever eat clam chowder?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think Latinos eat clam
No.
chowder. Andrea, do you eat clam chowder? A little bit. So yeah, it was like clam chowder. I was like, okay. I've had other options. They weren't anything to go right home about or anything, but I thought it was interesting. Unfortunately, Texas is not cold here yet, so I feel like it's not really soup season yet either. I feel like I'm still sweating, y'all. I was sweat. My son was he was begging me to put out Halloween decorations yesterday, and I'm like, I was like, sure, okay. So we're putting stuff out, and I'm sweating, and I'm telling him I'm dying from the heat. I cannot do this. Like, we've got to go inside. He's like, oh, okay. Like, for him, it's not that big of a deal, right? But yeah, so making chicken soup right now. Mama Chula says, yes, sounds good. Save me some. I see also my husband is on. He's peeping in. He's trying to see what's up. So that's pretty much on our trending cheeseman topics. Again, if y'all ever want to chime in, please let us know. And then also you can always do the polls on our IG stories to chime in on the trending cheeseman. We want to hear from y'all. We want to know what y'all think. We want to know, like I said, y'all's opinions about certain things. And for the most part, depending on how trendy they are or how, I guess, how hot they are too, the topics. But we try to stay away from politics and religion, as y'all know. And so we just try to keep it fun and light. But it's a good way to learn about y'all without really having to ask you your whole life story, right? So you've told me a little bit about your upbringing from the Halloween and all of that, but we will get to our wonderful rest of our episode. So let me give y'all a little bit of background that are those that have joined with us today. Latino Power Couple started 2022 with Deborah and Mark. Did y'all know that? No. Yeah, so I actually started this 2 years ago, and it's always been something that I've always wanted to do because I feel like you hear the term power couple really a lot in Hollywood, right? They're a power couple. They're, or like Beyonce, she can do it all, right? She's got everything. Dance, sing, act, you name it, she can do it all. And so with Latinos, we sometimes kind of get dismissed from those categories, right? We're not always seen as we have power per se, right? But we do, and we definitely do so here in our local community. So that's the reason why we wanted to highlight y'all and to share a little bit about y'all's business and all the wonderful things that have happened also recently. And I felt like it was great timing. So tell us a little bit about your business. We'll start with you, Jessica, because I learned it is predominantly women-owned business.
It is.
And so I was like, I'm all for it. I'm right here. So I love that. And I love that it's your duo, but it is predominantly woman-owned. So tell us a little bit about Good Sparrow.
Yeah, so Good Sparrow, and I don't know how much research you did.
I don't try not to do too much.
Okay.
Well, I do some, but just not. I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Well, me and Nelson, this is our third business together.
Okay.
So, but before this, we were We did a recording studio in A-Leaf, and then which Nelson ran with another partner, and I helped with the marketing. And then we did our own business that was a multimedia marketing agency. We ran that for 3 years until we realized like we don't know what we're doing on the business side. Nelson went to communication school, and I studied like psychology, nothing to do with business. Right. And so I went back to school. Went to the University of Houston's Wolf Center for Entrepreneurship. So it was like number one program right here. And then when I got in there, we realized, and we went in because we thought we were going to scale our previous business and figure out what the heck we're doing with accounting and all that. But then the Wolf Center changed our lives basically. And like we did this whole process of like our values. And then we basically built, we said we had to start over. So we started Good Sparrow. And we've been running it for 10 years. And it was all based on this personal purpose process that we did there. That was like basically ranking everything in our lives, like career, family, spiritual, like not just the business. Right. And then giving was like at the top of the list, and finance, was kind of at the bottom back then. Right. And then so Good Sparrow was born out of like that social impact being at the top of both of our lists. So we both did the thing. And then we smashed our, processes together and like built Good Sparrow from there. And when we started, it was really, we were trying to do social impact projects on our own. And so back then crowdfunding had just started. Right. Yes. And so we were doing crowdfunds on Indiegogo to build micro libraries in Colombia and El Salvador. So we were like bringing books back there, like. And it was crazy because we even had like our whole wedding. If you look for these videos on YouTube and stuff, our wedding was basically like the launch of Good Sparrow and like our projects to go and give the book. So instead of like wedding gifts, we told everybody just bring books, like kids' books, and we're gonna ship them over there. This is like beta. We didn't know what the hell we were doing. And then we realized when we got closer, we're like, this is gonna be expensive to ship these books. It's not worth it. Yeah. So in the wedding, we brought all the books that we had collected, and we said, just give us donations, take these books and give them to kids that here. Yeah. And then we're going to use the money to buy books locally. And then give those books to the kids out there. So that's kind of how we started. And while we were doing that, we were hosting workshops in the community in spaces like this, co-working spaces. Yeah. Just teaching them like what crowdfunding is, because nobody knew what it was. Right. Showing them our campaign. And then from there, nonprofits started to catch on. We actually invited Angela Blanchard she was the CEO of Baker Ripley at the time. Oh, okay. And we invited her one of these sessions, and we kind of said we just really want to use an organization to show like what you could do with crowdfunding. So we used it as like a case study. And then from there, we just started getting a lot of nonprofits, including Baker Ripley, who became our partner and client. We were teaching them how to do social media. We're teaching them how to create content, and we were also creating content, and it kind of like just from there, referral after referral, we just kept doing the same thing, and we've been doing that for 10 years. 10 years, yeah. And now it's not crowdfunding, so then the next tech was social media that everybody got to. Now it's AI, so we're teaching how to use AI. Yeah, which your good friend Jose taught me how with AI. So if you don't know, if y'all saw the wonderful graphic that we created, that was actually AI created with some photo editing and all that other fun graphic stuff that I do as well. So I was like, I need to incorporate AI into this because like I know AI is super important to some extent. And then also just the kind of connection of all the things that y'all do as well. So you said a lot, and you're definitely the lead on this. But Nelson, what do you do? You just stand right here next to her. How do you contribute as well?
Yeah, so my background is in broadcast. So I was at Univision for 10 years, right after U of H. While I was there, we were doing the other side hustles that we had, the other businesses. Right. When she went back in, it was like, well, how can we do a two-prong approach? Right. So it was the content creation and the teaching. Right. The content creation part is what I do a lot of the leading in, right? So when it comes down to productions, doing a lot of the filming, the directing, all the technical stuff, right? Yeah. I'm the tech and software nerd. So I love to geek out with all the new stuff that's coming out, right?
Yeah.
So I'll go out there, find all these new things, research processes and stuff, and then bring them back and be like, look what we can do.
Mhm.
This is how we can also help create our workflows a lot faster, and how we can apply them to businesses, right?
Right.
So yeah, I think she leverages a lot of the marketing experience that she's had. She's always been an entrepreneur, and then I've known the corporate world.
Yeah.
So I contribute by knowing a lot of the operations things and a lot of how corporations kind of function from the inside. Now we can do it from the outside and work with them, right?
Right.
And
So
all the peopling is him.
yeah, so
Yeah.
we are a good team because we're opposites, right? She's very much an introvert. I'm more of the extrovert. She's a deep thinker. I'm kind of like fast processing, right?
Mhm.
So I do a lot of the peopling. She does a lot of the filtering. So I think
Kind of
that's how
you keep us extroverts focused, because us extroverts, we can get a little like all over the place, or we can get real dreamy eyed too. We can be like, dream real big. I don't know about you, but I'm a big dreamer.
Yeah, that's kind of almost
both
the
of us,
opposite.
we have
I
some
think that
visionaries
he's way more good at like planning and like,
Oh,
hey,
okay.
we need to like do one thing at a time, because somebody told me I had shiny object syndrome or something.
I might have that.
I was
Yes.
like, yeah, so.
I understand what that is. Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look at that. Yeah. You get
New
distracted
prospects.
super
Yeah,
easily.
it's like
That
some
might be a little bit,
opportunities.
maybe a girl thing. I don't know. Maybe. Because I'm like that too. And my husband is very, he can definitely focus on one task at a time. For instance, let's just a little insight on my life, y'all. He's doing dishes, right? He'll do the dishes, he'll clean them up, task done. I'll start doing the dishes, and then I'll be like, oh, I need to go do this, and then oh, I need to go do that, and then the dogs need to go out, and then like by the end of the dishes aren't done.
Right,
So
right.
that's kind of a little bit of insight. I don't know about that's similar to what you're talking about, the shiny syndrome, but yes. And but I love that about y'all. So I think that's so cool. When I learned about y'all, I did do some research. If y'all want to learn more in depth, there's a wonderful about them part on y'all's website on goodsparrow.com, which was great. Shared a little bit about y'all's love for outdoors and just y'all's kind of relationship as well. But one of the things I really want to know is also about what is it like being married and working with each other. I have some experience. My in-laws have worked with each other for like 30 years. They're still married. They've been together for a really long time. But I'm always like, man, y'all see each other every day, working beside each other every day. How does that work? I'm just so amazed how that works. Not that they don't have their moments, right? Because we're all human, right? We all have our bad days. And but how does that work with y'all? Like, what is it? Give us a little insight. Has it always been like, hey, I want to work with my counterpart? This is kind of like, this was an opportunity that y'all saw in the beginning, or was it more like it just kind of happened organically?
Probably like a little bit of both.
Okay.
I mean, the reason we got together was because, well, I'm gonna say my point of
Your
view.
version.
My version.
Yeah.
Is like I've always been a workaholic and entrepreneur, right? And so like I just felt like he was the only one that he could stay up with me until like 2 a.m. working on some stuff.
Yeah.
And that was the first like, oh, okay.
He can hang.
Yeah. That's cool. So yes, it kind of happened, but we also met at work before we were dating.
Okay.
Like, that's just how we met in Univision. So it kind of started with work, and then he likes to say, I'll let you say the thing you always say.
What thing do I always say?
About if we could make
if we can make a business work, we can make a marriage work.
Right.
So we were friends first.
Right.
And the way we connected was because we liked business, because we liked to just work on things. And when we started dating, what I knew it was like something cool and special was payday. Got home, had a check, and I was like, all right, she's going to want to go somewhere. I'm going to ask her, where do you want to go? What do you want to spend this on? Let's go splurge or whatever. I'm like, what do you want to do? And she's like, why don't we stay and work on this proposal? I was like, for the first time in my life, instead of going out, the idea was, why don't we stay in and make money instead of spending money?
Right.
So that was a big paradigm shift
Yeah.
in relationships. And I was like, this is cool. I like this. We can make
She's
this
different.
work.
You're different in that sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
but it was hard to get used to working together.
Oh,
like when we
for
actually did, because we're so different. Like Nelson works so different than I do, and I would get anxiety because he can do something super fast and then he takes a break.
Yeah.
All day, every day. Like he would just work for, I don't know, 30 minutes, finish something, and then go for a bike ride.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have to sit for like 8 hours and do something.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
I would get like crazy anxiety. Like he's always getting up and like,
how's he already finished? That's funny you say that too, because our wonderful amiga, Connie Leon, has actually watched me do editing like in real time, just on some quick things that I've done for her personally. And she's like, that literally took you like a minute, maybe. I was like, you have to understand, I've been doing this for a very long time. Like I know the hacks already. I already have the vision in my head. We already figured out what we were going to do. Like it's just putting it out there, because I don't want to spend all day long working on it. Do I have my moments of that? Yes, because I now have more projects. So now it does take a little bit longer for me to kind of crank those out, which is not a bad problem to have. But I feel you on that, because it's sometimes I feel like I can get things done really quickly, and maybe I won't go for a bike ride, but I'll go do something else. And but then sometimes I do feel like I'm 8 hours straight just working on stuff. It's like it's like I quit my 9 to 5 so I wouldn't have to do this.
Oh yeah, that was a mistake.
Yeah. So one of the cool things that just happened recently as well, for those that don't know, is that a Good Sparrow and Jessica Nelson won $10,000 at the Latino Entrepreneurs Week grant pitch competition. And I thought that was so amazing because, it's so inspiring. I've never pitched my own business. That is definitely a goal this year. I don't know if I'll be able to do it in December, but that is definitely a goal for me, to pitch my own business, to learn how to tell my story and all these wonderful things. People might think that I've done similar things. No, I've never done it. People are encouraging me to, but I really kind of am sad I missed out on y'all's pitch to watch it. I was unfortunately dealing with a sick child. I have 2 boys. And so, and that was a busy week. Latino Entrepreneurs Week was crazy busy for all of us.
Yeah.
But I heard y'all, pretty much got it, and was it slam dunk, I guess you could say. And it was just so cool, and to be able to, know a little bit about what y'all do. So tell us a little bit, give us, those that are entrepreneurs, give it a little insight on what it's like pitching a business, and how did you learn? Like, how did you, not necessarily learn, because I can get really long-winded. How did you really come to a point where you're like, okay, I'm ready to pitch my business?
So when we did the competition, it was a $10,000 prize. What ended up happening was there was 3 businesses that were chosen by the judges, and we split the money up.
Oh, okay.
So
they decided to do that, actually, because it was supposed. I think it was supposed to go.
It was a 3-way tie.
Yeah, it was supposed to go to 1, and then they decided, like, let's just split it.
Because all of y'all were so good.
Yeah, they liked it.
Oh, that's awesome.
But to answer your question, right? So a lot of it comes because we're still involved in the Wolf Center. And the Wolf Center of Entrepreneurship, they really are strong about, we have to have students be able to pitch fearlessly. Okay, so they work a lot on pitching and refining pitches. Right. Because you pitch in everyday life all the time, right? Yeah. So we were always on the mentoring side. We were always on the teaching side. We never pitched something ourselves because we had our businesses already running, right? But when it came down to this, it was like, oh, this is exciting. Why don't we try something new? And every 10 years, we're supposed to revisit what the business is doing and what we can make the next 10 years look like. Right. So we were like, well, we've never pitched before. Why don't we start pitching and start saying this? And we've been getting some business coaching advice from Christo. So shout out to Christo. And he has a cool capabilities deck, and also a couple of other lessons that we've picked up along the way when it came down to pitching, and we just kind of meshed them together. And that made it to where we were like, yeah, let's do this. It feels right. It feels cool. And with AI, it was like our growth opportunity. So she had just graduated from Goldman Sachs, 10,000 businesses. Okay. Right? And at the end of that, you come out with a growth opportunity plan. And we were like, well, this is like the 10-year mark where what's that thing that's going to change our business? And AI is it. So we've injected it into our processes, and into our offerings for our clients. We were like, this is it. Let's pitch this new model of a subscription service for video content.
Yeah.
And that's what we kind of went on.
Oh, and that's
So
kind of, that was the.
I used AI I thought that's what you were also going to say. So I took the growth plan that was like 30 something pages and I put it into, because if you have the paid version of Chat GPT, you do your custom AI and you can fill it knowledge base. And so I uploaded like the knowledge base of our buyer personas and like our growth plan. And then I asked it like, can you help me come up with a 3-minute pitch? And here, format it for me, the main things we should say. Yeah. We also uploaded the judges. They gave us a judge scorecard. So what we're going to be and like the points and all that. Yeah. So I uploaded that and I said, based on this, make our pitch and like help me. Yeah. And then I threw it into Canva or whatever. Yeah. And like I think we were the only ones that hit everything on the scorecard. Yeah. And so like at the end, they were like, there was one question about AI, just a clarification question. Yeah. And other than that, everybody was like looking at each other like, they got everything.
They got everything. Yeah. That's amazing. So I think that's I love that. I love that you did that with the AI because I am a big believer in using AI as a tool. I think there's some great opportunity there. I think there's some great growth also for our businesses. And also, like you said, streamlining certain tasks as well, just trying to get that going. For those that might not know, a lot of the little short clips that I make now for Reels, I use AI. I used to actually chop it up myself and figure out how to edit it and figure out where the soundbite was at and figure out where the best part. Now AI can do that for me. And
what do you use?
So I use Opus Clips. Yes. Yeah. Okay. I've got the okay. That's the one to use. So I use that. And then one of the things that I'm also hearing from you that I really hope that y'all are hearing out there as well. And let me see if there's anybody that dropped any comments I see some people that have come in. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're still with us, thank you so much. But one of the cool things that I'm hearing from y'all that I want also to let people know is that y'all never stopped educating yourself and growing. I think this is something as a young entrepreneur, I've only been an entrepreneur for the last 5 years. And as a still growing, I'm educating myself every day, y'all, learning new things every day, going to either classes or workshops that are free, or just trying to figure out where I can learn as much free information right now until I can get to that point where I can, be in the Goldman Sachs or do something even bigger. But I love that because y'all been doing it for a really long time. And a lot of people might think, oh, y'all already know it, right? You're just leaning back on, the revenue or whatever. And it's like, no, that's not how entrepreneurship works, y'all. And small businesses work. That's not how small businesses work. You have to continue to grow. You have to continue to educate yourself and learn. And by doing that, you have to, invest in yourself and invest in your business. So I applaud you for that because I think so many, I've worked with a lot of small businesses, some that are much older than me as well, that don't do that. And you would think, well, why not? You've got to do those things. So that's why we commend you as a Latino power couple, because y'all are understanding the work that it takes to invest in your business and what it also takes to invest in the long end goal. So as far as the long end goal, we're going on 30 minutes, y'all. We're going over on a little time, but we started late, so that's okay. But the long end goal for y'all, I mean, what is the long end goal for y'all? Are you able to share some of that, or is there something that y'all would really like for us to know as a community that y'all would like to put out there for y'all's long-term goal?
Yeah, I'll let Nelson start.
So there's a couple of different goals, right? One of them is we do want to grow Good Sparrow to a nice, healthy evaluation, 5 to 7 years, and then sell it. Okay, so that is one of the goals, because we do feel like in our lives we want to do a lot of things. And to your point, every time we learn something, right, it makes us expand what we want to be able to do and the kind of impact we want to be able to have. So eventually we will plug ourselves out of Good Sparrow. Right. The shorter term goals, we want to do a lot of short form storytelling and long form storytelling, right, meaning docuseries type things that would go on Netflix, right? Right. So that's what we're working on now and what we want to eventually start doing more of. So we've been telling the stories of other businesses for other businesses a lot and other corporations. Mm-hmm. We want to move into something where Jessica writes something, I help shoot it, right? And we tell and pick and write out the story that we want to tell, that we feel is missing narratives for our community so that they can hear. So that's something that we want to do, and eventually also develop some software, right? So we want to be able to develop things and APIs that could help businesses, like give them tools instead of us doing things for them.
Right.
Give them the tools that will help them do it. So.
Yeah, I love that. Anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, just on the storytelling piece with, like, we've already started. I think you mentioned, like, we've been doing this storytelling with organizations that have social impact in the community. We're doing a first, like, docu-series right now. I say first because first funded, not first,
Right.
like, so we're working with, So shout out to Impact Hub Houston. So they're working on a capital readiness initiative, basically with a lot of the other organizations that support entrepreneurs in Houston.
Yeah.
So they got a grant from the MBDA, which is part of the U.S. Department of Treasury, to help support entrepreneurs and small businesses. And so it's a collection of all those organizations working together, because we're kind of siloed, even as people and organizations working, and now they're working together, and we're the storytelling arm of that.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you heard, it was like all over social media when they announced it maybe a couple of weeks ago. It was like the official launch, and so there's a link out there that if you search for Greater Houston Support Stack and social and Impact Hub, you'll find it. So if you're an entrepreneur, you can go and apply for support from all of these organizations. So at whatever stage in the journey you are, and if you're a startup, you just have an idea and you need to help launch. If you are needing to get certified as a woman-owned business or a minority-owned business, if you're ready to expand, if you're ready for funding, like whatever stage you're in, these orgs will help you, and that's what they do. And then we're telling the stories of the entrepreneurs that are going along this journey, and that's our part. And then we're also capturing how the organizations are supporting them.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of stuff that we want to keep doing. When Nelson says, like, me writing something, it doesn't necessarily mean like fiction.
Right.
Although maybe like in the future I will, but really want to stick to that social impact, documentary style things that are happening.
That's awesome. We need a lot more of that. So a lot of people don't realize, like, there's still a lot of stories, especially Latino stories, real life Latino stories that are either happening right now or that have already happened that are being told, that need to be told. So we need more Latinos also behind that movement as well to do so, because it's gotten to the point where people are trying to tell our stories in a way that it doesn't really make sense. Or, it's like, well, why can't we be a part of this, in a very direct way? We know there are Latino-owned businesses out there. We know there are Latino power couples like y'all. You're not the only ones. I mean, I know you wish you'd like to be right now. But there are other Latino power couples out there that are doing really big things. So it's all about, like, how can everybody work together and really kind of do this, what you're talking about. It sounds amazing. We'll definitely have to get the links for it so we can share that as well, and share those opportunities if anybody wants to be able to kind of learn from any of that. Thank you so much for those that are still with us. We appreciate y'all joining with us today and being a part of this wonderful episode. I do have one last question though, because there was something that y'all had mentioned Nelson mentioned about how, you hope to one day sell the business to some extent and be a part of it in a different way, right? So for those that don't know, it was actually trending earlier this month, and I think you're a great couple to talk about it. So I don't know if y'all are familiar with the Siete brand. They just sold their business for, I believe, $1.2 billion to Pepsi Cola. What are y'all's thoughts about that? Is that something is this something that we as Latinos should be like, with entrepreneurship and businesses, something that we really should be stepping into? Or is this something that we just didn't know, and now that our own community is doing it, we're kind of like, what the heck? Like, what are y'all's thoughts about that?
So it's interesting. And it is, I think, a controversial topic for some, right?
Right.
So we were just talking earlier with a friend of mine, and we brought up Abuelita, that chocolate. It's owned by Nestle.
Yeah.
And that's 1995.
Yeah.
So for this long, we've been consuming something that some can say it's cultural appropriation because it's owned by other people, not us.
Right.
But if we think about the founders and them selling that,
right,
they're probably well off now and doing other bigger things.
Yeah.
So we have to look at it in a lot of different ways. I don't think there's anything wrong because our communities right now cannot pass up those kind of opportunities, and
Right.
that's life-changing money.
Yeah.
And it gives us power to also be the ones that buy other brands.
Right.
So I want to go and see our communities not just sell what we've built, but also be in positions to buy other things
Yeah.
that we can also grow.
Right.
So I think we have a little bit to go, right?
Mhm.
But this is the only way to do it. We can't just say, you know what, I'm not going to sell out, because some friends are like, oh, you're going to sell out to
Yeah.
XYZ big company conglomerate, right?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, our communities, we can't afford to be like ego driven. This is going to be our little baby brand and we're going to hold on to it and not let anybody in.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it, at least.
Yeah.
To your point, though,
go ahead.
I don't think that our communities know much about that space.
Yeah.
And when I say that space, I mean like just fundraising in general, and like in that, I don't know if it was a VC deal. I don't really know the specifics of
Right.
them selling the brand,
Mhm.
but there is a lot to go with that. So even
Right.
when you are fundraising, there's a lot to learn about how much equity you're going to sell or to give away of your company,
Mhm.
because there are a lot of, bad stories out there.
Right.
Of
People get kind of
you get pushed out.
pushed out, or the rugs pulled up from underneath them to some extent. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was very interesting because, we as Latinos, sometimes we don't know business the way, say, the predominantly white community knows business. They do things a little bit differently. And now we're learning more also about the opportunities like Shark Tank does, right? That gives you a little bit of the insight, right? I really still feel like it's very rose-colored glass kind of deal, right? Like it's not really the raw stuff. But I think it's really important for us as a community, especially as a small businesses growing into hopefully bigger businesses and enterprises and all that wonderful stuff, to realize that, there are opportunities, like you said, that can't be sometimes pushed aside. And I love that you mentioned also about the ego, because I think that's, culturally, sometimes that kind of gets in the way for some of us. I mentioned here with Let's Vamonos. Let's Vamonos is just one of my projects. I don't know if I'll keep it long term. I don't know if I'll continue to do it in another 5 to 10 years. I just know this is what I'm doing right now, and I really enjoy it, right? So I think it's also one of those things you just have to realize. Every business you start is also a opportunity for other things to happen. So I understand what you're saying as well, but I was just curious, a little bit of some insight from y'all regarding that, because I love Siete brand.
Yeah.
I'm sure y'all do. Yeah.
Did you see the branding before the new?
No,
current branding?
I haven't. And that's what the people were saying, like, you need to see. And I was like, well, I've been eating their stuff maybe maybe since before COVID, a little bit before COVID. Shout out to Siete brand though, because I did a really small thing on my personal page called Car Rider Mom Confessionals. So I'd sit in my car, in the Car Rider Mom line, and eat snacks, and I would eat Siete snacks, and I would tag them. And then they sent me a box of Siete snacks for my whole family, like 2 boxes actually. It was crazy. I was like, oh wow, thanks so much. I mean, I didn't expect that, but I was like, oh, I love y'all stuff. It's a kind of a healthier snack. Well, if you don't eat the whole bag, Desiree, it's kind of a healthier snack to have. But we just appreciate y'all's time and everybody that has come on here and joined with us. But we want to let y'all have also the last words as well. So a couple things. One, tell us how we can support y'all, how we can find y'all. And 2, tell us also maybe some encouraging words for those entrepreneurs out there that are trying to get their name out, or maybe they're struggling, or maybe they're just like, what do I do? Or, they see people like you that have been doing it for 10 years. You mentioned this wasn't your first business, though. This is like you're on your third business or so. So tell us some of those things. So I guess first, where can we find you and how can we support you?
So you can find us on all platforms at Good Sparrow. So GOODSPERO, not the bird. So Sparrow is hope in Latin.
Okay.
And then Fancy Capitalist on all social media, and Nelson
Vanegas on, it's mainly Instagram and LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I think those are great platforms.
Yeah. And then for support-wise, we're really just looking for people that, Nelson mentioned the subscription model. We've been working more like one-offs. Every once in a while, we'll do like long-term stuff, like the docuseries.
Right.
But that's what we want to focus on now. So like social impact, long form and short form content creation. You know, anybody that is an organization that's making an impact in the community that needs more visibility and brand awareness for the good that they're doing in the world. Yeah. We want to be connected to those organizations.
Awesome. Well, I definitely hope we can do that, and hopefully we can connect y'all with more of those people, or people that never maybe even thought about it. Right? I don't know about y'all, but when I brought up that y'all were going to be the Latino power couple, I don't know what y'all's first thoughts were, but I know some people were kind of like, "Wow, like that just doesn't really." We don't really talk about that, right, in our community. So I want to do it because I would like to say I don't know anybody else who's doing Latino Power Couple. If y'all know, let me know, because I want to see what they're doing as well. But I don't, and I think that's one of the things. Sometimes you have to be the first, or not necessarily the first, but the first to really put it out there and say, "Hey, we're doing this. This is important." Just like you said, we're looking for stories for people that are doing a social impact. We need those people. Bring them to us, right? So, and then as far as advice or consejos or words of wisdom, anything?
I would again point everybody to that Greater Houston Support Stack, because for whatever you need, it's like those organizations are doing amazing work here in Houston and beyond. Some of them are national. So go there, get all the support you need. It's like mentorship, advisors, like all of that is super important. I mean, we did not know what we were doing, and if it was, we didn't know how to price anything.
Right.
And like we would just price stuff, and that's what happens to us. We price underpriced, and then like us, we find out years later the work we're doing. Two white guys from New York were getting paid like, not joking, like 20 times more than we were charging. So had we had advisors and mentors back then, we would have known that from the beginning. So
and then you would have been millionaires.
Skip all that.
Got the timeline. Well, like never stop learning, right? So that's what you mentioned earlier on. Like we need to take advantage of the new technology that's going out there, because it will let us get on the front of the wave instead of in the back.
Right.
And in the past, our communities have always been lagging a little bit. So if we can just get ahead of that wave, I think it's really, really powerful for us, because we don't have these infrastructures that are hard to dismantle in order to bring new stuff forward, right? So we can leapfrog a lot of that problem that other companies are still dealing with, because then they have to undo a lot of the workflows that they have to incorporate new stuff. And we don't have to do that. We can just go straight to the top, very fast, very agile. So that, and then always show up to stuff, right? Connect, even if it's online. So a lot of my introvert friends, I'm an extrovert, but I've learned an immense amount from Jessica about introversion. Even if it's connecting online and then asking for help. Like, I think as our community, it's tough for us to be vulnerable and be like, "Hey, I need some help. Could you help me out? What do you think about this?" No, we need to stop that and ask for help, because there's a lot of people that if you hit me up, I'm willing to have a conversation with you and be like, "Here's what I can help with," or "Here's what I can connect you with." So those are my big things.
Texting.
Don't for sure. Well, we really appreciate everybody that has joined with us today, and we do see those that are still with us. We appreciate it. If you weren't able to catch today's episode, no worries. We keep it. We will put it on Instagram and also YouTube later on after the show's been over and ended. But we just want to also just reminder to love all the support that we can give all of our fellow entrepreneurs out there. If you know a Latino power couple and you would like to possibly nominate or introduce us to them, let us know. We only do this once a year. So, and we hope to do more, and we hope to be able to do more behind this as well. I want to do more to bring awareness to wonderful couples out there. I think it's really important. I think it's just something that's also a rare kind as well. I grew up with a Latino power couple. My parents, they were huge in the community as far as advocacy, and they were great team leaders. They did not work together as their 9-to-5 or business, but they worked together in working together for the community. And that's also really important. So you don't necessarily have to own a business together. It can also just be community work as well. But let us know. We'd love to start working for 2025. Y'all, it's literally around the corner. I cannot believe it. But we appreciate all the love and support out there, but we got to go. So let's vamonos. Bye. There's a little bit of a delay. There's like a 5-second delay, maybe even more. Oh, there we go. I know it says discard, but it's fine. Everybody's like, wait.